10 things that I would love to have documented from the very beginning. So had I had, a quality camera or a smartphone like I have today, what would I have documented? I would love to have documented the business plan process. I think that would have been so cool, especially since it was such a loved, appreciated business plan by two banks, a credit union, and two loan committees. That's a nice body of people to say, like, this is a great business plan. So I would have loved to have shared that, especially me figuring it out and be like, oh, this is awful, get rid of that, and what about this? And then like Starbucks meetings with Amy and me, like, I needed a sounding board. Like, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, and then, getting her input, like, yeah, that sounds really great. Or are you sure people would like that? That would have been really cool. The other thing is the purchasing of equipment. People will say how much it costs to start a shop, how much it costs to start a salon, how much it costs. Different businesses cost different amounts. Some things are more expensive. So it would have been really interesting to say, like, here's what we think we need. Here's what we need. Here's some things we didn't realize we needed. And to like go through the whole process of purchasing everything from chairs to sinks to computer, printer, scanner, surround sound, locks, windows. Some things we had to negotiate with our landlord because it wasn't in our lease. So that kind of stuff would have been really interesting. Another thing would have been, interviews and conversations with people. Especially since people conveniently forget their conversations with you. It would have been really interesting to even, not to necessarily film it, but to come back and be like, okay, these are things that we, was great today, so-and-so, or, even if we had to keep things anonymous, just to talk about what we were asking, what we were doing, also because then it would serve as a great guide for the future to see maybe what we would have done differently, what things might have sounded great at the time, but when they're in practice, when you're actually implementing them into your business day to day, they might not work. So that would be kind of neat, more of as a reflection piece. Design and layout of the location. That was such a process. I had done rough drawings of a variety of things, and then we had a builder designer come in who said, okay, that's a great design, but we need to consider electrical and plumbing within this design, and I'll review some things. So it would be really interesting to see things that he did that were great and were right, and things that he did that completely messed up the plan, and I wish I just did my thing in the first place. So yeah, that would have been really interesting to go back on. The budget and the real expenses. So I discussed equipment, but then you get through like everything. You get through like basically your first year cash flow statement and what you think things are going to cost. And then over the course of a year, imagine going back and reviewing it for you guys. I thought that would be pretty neat because I have it for myself, and you're kind of going, oh my God, that is not what I ever thought things would end up to or add up to. But then unforeseen things happen. So, and I mean truly unforeseen things happen. It's not even something you could plan for, some of the things that happened. Hence unforeseen. Okay, so dealing with the city of Ottawa and having to get the city councillor involved. Thank goodness I had my mother to say, call your city councillor. They need to know what's going on. The city of Ottawa, my advice would be anytime that is a popular time for vacations, just assume the city is gone. So we had 4 months. They don't care. They don't move your files over to someone else to take care of it while they're on their 5-week vacation. They don't care that your rent is just coming out of your bank account. They don't care if you're at a standstill twiddling your thumbs for 6 weeks staring at lumber. They don't care. They're on vacation. So anyway, email process, you could argue and say, well, people are allowed to go on vacation. Okay, but then when they send their email before they go, send an efficient email that your engineer can actually get some work done while they're away. Okay, I can go on a lot, and that would just be a very angry video. So I might skip that because I'm in a very happy mood right now. I might skip that. 7, the 12 days of construction with my dad. Oh, of course. Okay, so me and my dad essentially got that place built in 12 days. We worked from, on average, about 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We would sleep for 3 to 4 hours would be what we'd allow ourselves on the alarm and get back to work. I would have help throughout the day. I had some family members. I had Amy, coming and sanding or doing some things during the day, but then people would start to, head out by 7 o'clock, by 10 o'clock. The latest I had someone there, I believe, was midnight. That was like 1 or 2 days when the sanding was done. So like everything's basically been done. The drywall's up, the mudding's done. Now we just some sanding. So that was about 2 days of work out of these 12 crazy, crazy days. I was sick. Getting that, anyway, and the contractors, hiring a contractor, realizing the contractor's not experienced and needed to say, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, that was very interesting. So that would have been super cool to share. I would have been full of sand and mud and paint. Yeah, that would have been very interesting. And then number 8, construction weekends and projects over the next 3 years. So that 12 days got us open, but we needed to continue to, have things set up. So once you're in the place and you're working, you're seeing, okay, this isn't working, this isn't finished. It was good enough to open. No one really could see, but we need to update that, or we need more storage, or so me constantly, every single weekend, to the point where my new husband said, can't we have a weekend to ourselves? Does every single weekend have to be the shop? And it started to become a fight. So even then I remember saying, okay, maybe just Sundays. I still need to work Saturday evening, and I'll still need to work all day Monday because our weekends off were Sundays and Mondays. So maybe we'll just work to a point. Our goal would be we could have a Sunday to ourselves. That's how much time was dedicated. That was 3 years of that. And then finally by the 3rd year, we agreed on Sundays I wouldn't be in the shop. So that was pretty harsh. How the heck we're married and we're now in our sixth year of marriage, I have no idea. But we made it. Also, why we got married the same year I opened my business. We're crazy. The experiences with employees, contractors, clients. That would have been kind of interesting to share over that, like while it was actually happening, or maybe when it first wrapped up, being able to say, okay, this is what happened, and this is what I've learned from it, and this is what you can do, or this is what happened. Thank God I stuck to my guns, and I am organized and I have my crap in order because it saved me. And then dealing with companies. Oh my goodness, I have a 2-year awful story with Rogers, like phone and internet. And then can I say every? I'm going to say almost, because I don't like using always and every unless I can truly mean always and every. Nearly every company that we work with, a third party, you need a service, fails you in some way and just doesn't do their job. And yet if you conducted your business that same way, you wouldn't be in business. I think that was the most infuriating thing about being in business for self, is that you're at the mercy of delivering your product, delivering it perfectly, because, God forbid there's any criticism. And if the person does graciously come back, rather than just like trashing you somewhere, graciously comes back and says, hey, it's not 100%, and you're, absolutely whatever I need to do, like, thank you so, and I always say to them, thank you so much for coming to us first. I also have a process, so I have to give credit to that too. I have a process that we present to our clients to make it very welcoming for them to come back if there's any concern with anything. And so it's like open arms. Like they don't feel intimidated to say, I need to return this, or it's not working for me, or, there's a piece back here I'm not really sure about. Like, we have a pretty solid process. So we've been very fortunate, but you're at the mercy of what if that client just doesn't care, or what if they just don't want to pay? We've come across that, and it has only been through Groupon. We ran Groupons. It was like the new thing to be doing. I had experience with them before. I knew how to put it out in a way that was very open. Like I knew Groupon like to hide fine print. I'd say, no, I'm not in business with you unless you make it part of the steps that they have to visit my web. Like I have my website, but I have a web page dedicated to Groupon. And I don't want fine print. I want like the terms on the side. Like you must call first, book first, before purchasing this. Like I did some things in the Groupon that prevented so many problems, but you would get the one customer that would be like, I purchased this and I want it. You're like, yeah, and you needed to call first to book that in, because we don't want you to buy something you can't use. We're not here to hurt you or to scam you. We only want you to come in if you can get the appointment and time that you want. A lot of people will feel as though they want a service done that day, so they go online and look for a coupon for that day. Well, if you're a good business and if people really like you, and perhaps you're only running a promotion because you have one new person that is looking to build their book. So you have one person and you've limited your amount, and you're saying, or it's a new service, and you just want to get a few people in, so you're saying call first. And 3 or 4 people already booked up that day, and the services were quite long, and you get one person that's like, I want in now, today. And you're going, okay, it's like the first sentence on the deal. It says, please call first to ensure that you can get the time, that you want. What do you do? Anyway, and then you get some, not often though. I say that, I say that, and yet there's 3 people that come to mind in 7 years, and we've had thousands of clients. Our active mailing list right now is 3,500. And yet I can name you first and last name 3 people that are just ugly individuals. And one day I will be sharing the abuse and the extortion to small businesses. I will be making a video on that. And the other, again, third party, talking about companies, how this relates, companies that facilitate it, that actually, I don't know if they get a kick out of it, I'm not sure if it's some satisfaction that they receive by giving platforms to people that can hide behind an icon and are not accountable, can say whatever they want, and potentially directly affect the livelihood of an individual, a small business owner. We are 4.9 on Facebook. Sometimes it goes up to 5 again, but there's still that one person that was quite abusive in the shop that's still on there. And then you have Google. Sometimes on apps I'll see it at 4.9, but then when I'm on my desktop I see it at 4.7. So we have a great rating. But I don't need to have a bad rating to defend people who I know are victims of extortion and reviews being used as a weapon. So if you're not understanding what I'm saying, I'm going to do, that's one of my top podcasts and what do you call this, videos that I'm going to be making just dedicated to that, and some tips of how small businesses can protect themselves, because it is a trend. People don't need a gun anymore to go into a store and rob them. All they have to say is, you better do this for me, you better give this to me, and you're like, I'm a nice person. I just wanted to make a business to make things pretty for people. I'm not even taking a paycheck. I give my tips to my staff. So yeah, what do you do? Anyway, can you imagine if I documented those things? Oh, anyway. Okay, that's it. So that is my first video. It's April 1st, and I'm going to try to do, I can do much shorter ones moving forward. This was like a journey plus, a little bit of 10 things. 10 things I thought of today over coffee. So Ginger's going to say goodbye. She's the cutest. She sits on my lap the whole time. Oh, and my location's full. We always have dogs. I love dogs. When you're in business for self, you have to stay true to the things that make you happy. And one of my non-negotiables, there has to be a nice dog, a well-behaved dog, in the shop at all times. So if that can't happen, then I'm closing my doors. Thank you very much, Girl Gals. Thank you for listening. If you made it through this video, it's a vlog style, I guess. I'm not really giving, top 5 things that you need, tools that you need. That's coming. I just wanted to take an opportunity to start to document this journey. I thought some of you, I don't necessarily always realize what I'm saying to people, and then they, the feedback is, I'm so motivated after talking to you. I'm inspired to do my own thing now. So I just realized, what, it's selfish of me to keep it all in my head and just put it into my own business. I'm really making an effort for 2019 to start to share. And just share and put what I have out there, and you can take it or leave it, but if I can make a difference in one entrepreneur's life, then I am one happy camper. Okay, so have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Ciao.